The city slept beneath the hum of neon and restless power lines. Yet in the hollow quiet between 2 and 3 a.m., the narrator lay awake, hearing a soft tapping on the glass, not from outside, but from the inside of the dream. He sat up, half in body, half in the strange weight of thought, and saw a figure standing by the window that had never opened before. The figure was dressed in gray, its outline bending the air like heat. It smiled, though not with lips. Its eyes, calm, liquid, and old, shimmered like mirrors beneath a soft storm. "Do you remember when you agreed to forget?" the figure asked. The words arrived directly into the narrator's awareness, not through sound but through vibration. He tried to speak, to ask who the stranger was, but no word formed. Only the feeling, "I know you." The figure nodded. "You built this cage with millions of others, all thinking it was a temple. You called the builder God. But he was only the architect, a master of form, not of life." At that, the room changed. The walls stretched outward, bending into corridors that revealed endless rooms filled with screens, machines, mirrors. In each, a person slept while a projection of themselves worked, prayed, loved, and wept, unaware they were dreaming. The narrator stepped forward. "Then what are we?" "Fragments of the one who never left," the wanderer said. "You've been dreaming for centuries. Every clock that ticks here counts down to your return. But to wake, you must first stop believing in the world that tells you it's real." The words burned cold in his chest. He remembered a child's prayer, one taught long ago, and realized it wasn't a blessing but a binding. A spell that sealed the soul's consent to remain asleep. The wanderer, Saren, raised a hand, tracing symbols in the air. Light moved like ink across glass. "You can't fight the architect in his house. You unmake his claim by remembering the source, by whispering the sound that can't be spoken." Saren then placed 2 fingers over the narrator's forehead. "At midnight, before sleep, say the words I leave you. They are not magic. They are memory." A pulse of gold light rippled through the room, folding it back into the quiet of the apartment. The stranger was gone. On the desk lay a note written in the narrator's own handwriting. To leave the dream, withdraw consent. To remember the source, breathe through the heart. To awaken, forgive the architect. The letters shimmered faintly, fading each time he blinked. He felt the pull of sleep again, but it was different now, not heavy, but electric. Outside, the city lights flickered, as though something ancient beneath the asphalt had turned its gaze upward. He lay down, whispering the first line, uncertain whether he was praying, confessing, or remembering. And for the first time in his life, he did not dream. When the morning came, everything appeared normal, too normal. The city buzzed, screens glowed, the coffee burned just the same. But underneath the noise, the narrator felt an unshakable clarity, like seeing faint cracks on a mirror that everyone else still thought was whole. He walked to work, crossing the same streets, yet the faces he passed were subtly hollow, eyes that flickered, like light projected on thin glass. When he met a gaze directly, the image would distort for a fraction of a second, then smooth itself back into a smile. That night, he returned home and whispered the second line. To remember the source, breathe through the heart. The words moved like current through him. His pulse slowed, then reversed, each beat pulling inward instead of pushing out. The air around his chest vibrated, a soft hum echoing the same tone he had heard in Saren's voice. The room melted. He was back in the vast white chamber beyond the world, surrounded by structures of living geometry, forms that breathed, spiraling patterns of light upon light. From within this lattice stepped Saren, but now without shape, only the essence of presence. "What you are seeing is what you forgot," Saren said, his voice made of chord and resonance. "The dream you call the universe is held together by the consent of sleepers. It is not evil, only unfinished. The architect mistook containment for care, design for divinity." The narrator's thoughts trembled. "Then why does it hurt so much to wake?" "Because you believe the pain proves you exist." Saren extended a sphere of light toward him. Inside, countless souls moved as sparks in a great wind. "Each night you sleep, you return to the border. You can either descend again into illusion or rise to remembrance. That's what your kind calls death. But death is only a doorway locked from the inside." The narrator felt tears rise, though they turned into small crystalline motes before falling. "If I break the lock, what happens to the others? Some will feel your movement and stir. Some will resist. The system may even turn against you, projecting images of fear, guilt, or false light. But you must not fight them, only see through them. Light does not battle darkness, it dissolves it by remembering itself." Saren drew near. "There is one more phrase. It cannot be spoken aloud, for its sound breaks the veil. You must hold it as feeling, not language. I will show you." Suddenly, the heart of the chamber burst open, revealing a sky made of sound. Each note was a star, each chord a memory of being. The vibration entered his body like warmth, fierce yet kind, and for an instant, he remembered what he was before breath, before matter. Then, darkness. He woke gasping, the alarm clock screaming at 6 a.m. Yet the room seemed subtly rearranged, the furniture positioned slightly differently, shadows bent the wrong way. On the window, faint handwriting glowed and vanished. "Forgive the architect." He spoke the words gently. And something changed, not outside, but within. The deep resentment, the quiet despair of a meaningless life, began to drain away. Not replaced by joy, but by understanding, that none of this had ever been punishment, only practice. That day, when he looked at people again, the hollowness seemed softer. A light flickered behind their eyes, faint but alive, like distant stars waiting for nightfall. The path wasn't about escaping the dream anymore, it was about redeeming it from within. And somewhere beyond sight, the architect paused his endless design and turned, sensing the echo of one soul remembering its own name. Days turned into something softer, not time, exactly, but sequences of lessons. The narrator began to understand that each event he met was not random, but placed, carefully, almost lovingly, as if the universe itself had become a teacher in disguise. Every frustration, delay, and disappointment now carried a whisper, "Remember what you are doing here." Each night, he returned to the 3 lines. Withdraw consent. Breathe through the heart. Forgive the architect. He would lie flat, palms open, feeling the pulse between his ribs align with something greater, as if 2 rhythms, his own and the world's, were reconciling after a long silence. The dreams that followed were unlike any before. At first came the resistance. Figures cloaked in smoke appeared at the threshold of sleep, wearing familiar faces, teachers, preachers, friends, warning him to stop. "You're tampering with sacred design," they whispered. "This is rebellion." But in the lucid calm Saren had taught him, he saw through them. The fear they brought was recycled, echoes from old beliefs, nothing more. He met their shadows with stillness, repeating the 3rd phrase in silence until they dissolved into light. Then came the remembering. He found himself standing at the edge of a vast field beneath twin suns. The air shimmered gold, humming the same tone from the white chamber. Souls moved there, countless, radiant, some still half dreaming, others awake and guiding. Saren appeared once more, now brighter, less separate. "This is not heaven," Saren said. "It's the space between forgetting and return. The architect's realm ends here. Beyond this, there is no form, only the source, the breathing that dreamed us all." The narrator asked, "If I step beyond, do I lose the world I love?" "Nothing true is ever lost," Saren replied. "Only illusion fades. You can go, or you can stay and become a bridge for those still wandering. Each awakening folds the dream toward freedom." He hesitated. The thought of leaving everything, faces, laughter, the small joys of touch and music, pierced him. And then he realized, love itself was the bridge. The same current that built the stars flowed through a mother's hug, a friend's voice, a stranger's smile. It was never separate. So he chose to stay. When he awoke, his apartment was still small and gray, yet it pulsed gently with unseen color. The walls breathed, the air glowed with soft motion. He felt connected to every sound, the hum of the fridge, the wings of a bird outside, the faint heartbeat of the city. All of it part of one living pulse. He went out that morning and walked differently. Not hurried, not lost. He smiled at people without reason. Some smiled back, confused, curious, but changed. Others looked away, startled by a recognition they couldn't name. That night, he performed the prayer one last time, but this time it wasn't ritual. It was gratitude. "I withdraw consent from all illusion. I breathe through the heart that remembers the source. I forgive the architect, and I forgive myself." The air shimmered again, but he did not rise or vanish. He simply sat in the quiet glow of his own awareness, awake inside the dream. He understood, finally, that awakening wasn't about escape. It was about presence. Every moment was a portal when seen with love, every breath, a passage back to origin. The teaching wasn't secret anymore, it had to be lived, not spoken. He smiled, whispering into the room, "May we all wake gently." And somewhere, perhaps within the architect himself, a tiny crack of light began to widen, not destruction, but healing, as creation remembered its source. So if you've made it here, to the end of this quiet journey, maybe something in you has stirred too. Maybe you felt that same hum in your chest, the subtle ache that says there's more than what they told you. That's where it begins. Not in temples, not in theories, but in the simple willingness to look inward, to pause, to listen, and to forgive what once blinded you. This story was never about rebellion. It's about remembering. The architect, the dream, the veil, they're metaphors for the walls we build around ourselves every day. When you stop fighting them and start seeing through them, life begins to unfold as it truly is, luminous, intelligent, and alive in every breath. The awakening isn't loud. It doesn't arrive with thunder or fire. It comes softly, in the quiet moment when you realize that you've been searching for something you already carry. The words you whisper before sleep, the silence between thoughts, the compassion you extend even when no one's watching, that's the real key. So, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and walk gently back into your world. See it with new eyes. Speak less, love more. The path isn't meant to be followed, it's meant to be lived. And if ever you forget, close your eyes, breathe through your heart, and forgive everything, even yourself. If this story found you at the right time, then maybe it was meant to. If it opened something small but real inside you, keep it alive, share it forward. Like, comment, or subscribe, not just for algorithms, but to remind the digital current that truth still moves between us. Each connection sends a spark through the grid, each view another small awakening rippling through the dream. Until next time, stay kind, stay awake, and remember. The light never left. It was simply waiting for you to notice.